over Numbers 22. I was kind of thinking about self-will, right? So let me talk about this while we're waiting for LA. Most of us, we are very self-willed, okay? So your own desires, your own thinking, your own plans, and we fail to realize how so ingrained we are. And we fail to realize that we're actually trying to make God do what we want. Okay? We don't really realize that we haven't fully surrendered and fully laid down all our plans. We think we have, and therefore what we do is we try to actually make God answer our prayers according to our own plan. Amen? And then most of us actually deceive. We think we're doing God's will. And this is why a lot of Christians, you conflict with God. This is why you hit a ceiling, basically. You're trying to get somewhere. You're asking God to help you, but you're not moving. You're not moving forward, right? Why? Because the person that's really blocking you is God. And we think it's the devil, but the reality is really God. He's blocking you because we're not in the path that we want to go. You see? And in Numbers 22 here, I'm going to start in verse, let me start in verse 5 here. So the background on this is, God's people coming out of Egypt. They're heading towards the wilderness, and Balak over here, king of Moab, wanted to curse them, and he sought Balaam. Most of you, if you know this story, the background, Balaam is the one that was blocked by the donkey, right? The donkey that spoke. And it looks at first like God's giving Balaam permission, but the reality is God is testing him, and God doesn't really want him to go. And so I want to read this, and I want to show you something that this could be you. You can actually seek an answer from God, get a no, right? You get a no from God, and you keep pushing God. And if you keep pushing God, He's going to let you go, okay? One of the things that many Christians fail to realize is that just because the path is open, door's been open, you might think, oh, God must be letting me go. In some sense, that's true. He's letting you go so you can actually learn the hard way. It's like you have a child. If your child's like, parents like, Mom, Dad, can I stay out late? You say, no. Can I stay out late? Can I stay after midnight and come home? And you're like, no, and they keep pressing you. And maybe they might say, okay, fine, go ahead, let's see what happens. Just to see that you can learn the hard way, right? That it's not safe, it's not the right way. They may do that. All right, so let me start here in Numbers chapter 22, verse 5. I'm going to start at the word look here. Look, a vast horde of people has arrived from Egypt. They cover the face of the earth and are threatening me. Please come and curse these people for me because they are too powerful for me. Then perhaps I'll be able to conquer them and drive them into the land. I know that blessings fall on any people you bless and curses fall on people you curse. That's king of Moab sending a message to Balaam. Verse 7 here. Balak's messengers, who were elders of Moab and Midian, sent out with money to pay Balaam to place a curse upon Israel. They went to Balaam and delivered Balak's message to him. 8. Stay here overnight, Balaam said. In the morning I will tell you whatever the Lord directs me to say. So the officials from Moab stayed there with Balaam. 9. That night God came to Balaam and asked him, who are these men visiting you? 10. Balaam said to God, Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent me this message. 11. Look, a vast horde of people has arrived from Egypt, and they cover the face of the earth. Come and curse these people for me. Then perhaps I will be able to stand up to them and drive them out from the land. 12. But God told Balaam, don't go with them. You are not to curse these people, for they have been blessed. All right, so verse 12, God already sets the tone. God gives him the instruction. And God is stating a truth. They have been blessed already. Okay, so it's already spoken. Instructions given. So 13, now it seems like Balaam's doing the right thing. 13, the next morning, Balaam got up and told Balak's officials, go home. The Lord will not let me go with you. 14, so the Moabite officials returned to King Balak and reported, Balaam refused to come with us. 15, then Balak tried again. This time he sent a larger number of even more distinguished officials than those he had sent the first time. They went to Balaam and delivered this message to him. This is what Balak, son of Zippor, says. Please don't let anything stop you from coming to help me. I will pay you very well and do whatever you tell me. Just come and curse these people. So now King of Balak has upped the ante, right? I will, verse 17, I will pay you very well. And he sent his messengers of higher ranking. Okay, so everything has been elevated. 18, but Balaam responded to Balak's messengers. So I want you to see how he responds and what he does, though. Balaam responded to Balak's messengers, even if Balak were to give me this palace filled with silver and gold, I would be powerless to do anything against the will of the Lord. So he's admitting with his own mouth, I can't do anything, and if you try to bribe me, it doesn't matter. I can't do anything against God's will. Here it goes in 19, though. But stay here one more night, and I will see if the Lord has anything else to say to me. 20. That night God came to Balaam and told him, since these men have come for you, get up and go with them, but only do what I tell you to do. Now, verse 19. He's going back to God because he has been enticed by the extra money. But he already knows the answer. You know, we experience this with many Christians too. People come to us, right, and they ask for advice. They ask for prayer requests. And then we might have a message or an answer for you. And we say, no, right? Basically, no, you can't do that. And knowing that first answer, knowing that God doesn't want that, there's people that will continue to come to us and press us, right? They press us like Balaam. He already knows. God says, no, they're blessed. Don't touch him, right? And he knows this. He said it already to Balak's messengers. No, I can't do this. But hold on, in case God changes his mind, right? But this, in case change of mind, he's motivated by the money, though. You see, even in other churches, other pastors, they know right and wrong, but they're also bribed by the congregation, right? The ones with money and power. And at first, they may say, no, I can't do that. But then a congregation member may come and say, well, here's an offering, right? It's a bribe. Happens all the time. Even though the pastor may know it's the wrong thing to do, they'll take the bribe and maybe comply to the congregation desire. You see, and this self-will of people is manipulated through bribery like this, when you already know right and wrong. So when he went back to God, now God's like, gives him a different answer. All right, go. Go with them. But only do what I tell you to do. 21. So the next morning, Balaam got up. He's all excited, okay? Saddled his donkey and started off with the Moabite officials. 22. But God was angry. Now, you can come to me and say, but you told me I can do it. Right? But if we look at our conversation, the record, you will realize that there was a beginning when we told you no. And then if you kept pressing, then God's going to let you learn the hard way. Go ahead. But really, God don't want you to go. Right? God don't want Balaam to go curse his people. But he came back again, so God says, okay, I'm going to test you. If you really want the money or you're going to obey me, go ahead. And so he got all excited, saddled up. And then here in 25, God got angry, and he sent the angel of the Lord to stand in the rock to block his way. As Balaam and 2 servants were riding along, 23, Balaam's donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. The donkey bolted off the road into the field, but Balaam beat it and turned it back into the road. So he's like forcing the situation, right? Now, the donkey represents a circumstance that has just blocked your way. Now, when things are not going smoothly, you got to think, right? Who's really blocking this? Am I really on God's will and the enemy's blocking this? Or do I think I'm doing God's will and now God has blocked this, right? The donkey represents, you could be representing your stubbornness too, that you just won't go to another direction. You just want to press forward, right? 24, the angel of the Lord stood at a place where the road narrowed between 2 vineyards walls. 25, when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it tried to squeeze by and crush Balaam's foot against the wall. So if you keep pressing in a direction that God does not want you to go, then you're going to have some physical consequences here too, right? And in this case, Balaam's foot got crushed. So Balaam beat the donkey again. He's forcing this, right? Why? Money, that objective, that greed is much stronger. So rather than, maybe trying to figure this out, maybe God don't want me to go, he keeps forcing this, right? So Balaam beat the donkey again. Then as the angel of the Lord moved further down the road, stood in a place too narrow for the donkey to get by at all. So actually this happens like 3 times, right? God warning him 3 times, don't go. This time when the donkey saw the angel, it lay under Balaam. In a fit rage, Balaam beat the animal again with his staff. 28, then the Lord gave the donkey the ability to speak. What have I done to you that deserves your beating me 3 times? The donkey being able to speak represents something supernatural or God coming to you in a different way to prevent you from keep going further. That is not God's path or will. All right. Now, I want you to examine yourself and watch yourself as we move forward, especially with church and your personal lives. We all have particular plan and desires that we would like, right? You want to work here, you want to live there, you want this and that to happen. So you have this idea of what's going to be comfortable, what's going to be happy, what's going to be joy. And you can actually pray and asking God to make it happen. But what if God says, no, I don't want, it's not that direction I want for you? Especially for those that God has come to you and say, I'm going to break you, right? I'm going to break you. And so when God comes to break you, you got to understand that your life's going to get turned upside down. He's come to the temple, like in Jerusalem. He come into your heart. You're the temple. And he's flipping the tables, right? He's going to turn your life upside down. And so when your life turns upside down and everything is like chaotic, even though it's really not, it's just chaotic to you because it's uncomfortable to you, right? But God is just rearranging everything in your life. Then you got to discern, okay, God, I'm in the season of breaking or discipline. You got to learn how to flow in your situation, all right? Because if you're not going to flow with God, you're going to be this. You're going to be like Balaam, trying to force your way into a direction where you see a prize. And Balaam's prize was this big money, right? More money, fame, recognition. That's what he wanted. And he's been blocked 3 times. And God, out of mercy, trying to stop him. So now he got the donkey speaking to him, right? And of course, he still moves forward, of course, to go see King Balak. And then he tries to speak curse, or he tries to speak and blessings start coming out, right? You see, you can get to a certain place thinking you are doing God's work in His will. But you got to look at your heart. Self-will, greed, huh? Not just about money, though. Personal life, personal dreams. How you define joy, happiness. What is joy to you, right? For some of us here, we have Xavier, we have Robert, we have Jason. Their wives are in different states. And we have also wives here where your husbands are at home. They're not here, right? And our idea is, of course, to have them with us serving the Lord. And that core idea, it is God's, of course. But how you're going to get there, you got to lay that down, okay? Your plans to bring in your wife, your plans to bring in your husbands, if you try to calculate how you're going to strategically do all this, as you pray to God to make it happen, you're going to keep hitting a wall. What you have to do is just do your part, your relationship with God, okay? Your relationship with God is for you to be broken and for God, allow God to show you your heart, to reveal the idols, get yourself clean and purified. And as you're doing this, God is working for you behind the scenes to get your family members and your other family members saved. But if your eyes are on your family, your eyes are on how to, make them happy, how to support them. I mean, you got to do the basics, of course, all right? But if you're consumed with that thought, you're not really worshiping God. You're going to be worshiping them because they're your idols, because they're your consumption within your time. And we told you many times, of course, our own personal testimony, right? Let me see if they're up now. Oh, it looks like they're praying. And we told you, since we got some time, I don't know if it's almost 4 anyway. Maybe we'll just have to end it. We told you our testimony, my wife and I. God comes for that single person first, right? And so I was a Christian first. I led my wife to Jesus, but then God went after her first, right? And so in order to go to her first, God made me go south. Okay, when I say south, I mean when we moved to Michigan, I became a drunk, right? I cheated on my wife, smoking, working, cursing, all kinds of nonsense. I became the Potiphar, I became the Nebuchadnezzar, I became the Pharaoh to her. Now, she had a choice. Now, some of you are going through this, okay? And we are a testimony of what worked. So we want you to follow this rather than because otherwise you'll become deceived and you'll go after your own self-will. You see, today's message, if you try to keep it, you're going to lose it, right? And so basically the Lord came to my wife and said, and taught us, if you try to save your husband, you're going to lose him regardless. And for me too, if I try to save my family, we're going to lose them. So she had to let me go, all right? In her heart, let me go. No matter how it looked bad, right? How bad I was becoming a drunk, how bad I was becoming verbally abusive, how bad I was becoming a father, she had to just let me go. Okay? And when I say let go, not put so much concentration on me. Right? Like, what's wrong with you? You better get doing right. You better believe in Jesus. You know, no, that was all like, that's God's business, okay? So her job, her business became, I got to get right with God. Okay? Because regardless if she said, you know, if she was saying to me, you got to get right with God, we're all falling short of the glory of God. Amen? So she can't just tell me get right when she needs to get right as well. If you're going to save, if you want God to save your spouses and your children, you got to get right with God. If you tell them to get right and you're not right, no one's going to get saved. Someone got to get right first. Someone got to go ahead. Someone got to pay the price first. Amen? And so Jesus had to go on his own. He came down and he had to go. And he had to go pay the price for all of us. And so now he says, follow me. I need one of you. The ones that I've called, Peter, John, Matthew, right? He pulled them out of families. He pulled them out of business. And they just dropped their fishing nets, dropped their livelihoods. Go, we're going. Right? They didn't say, we got to sell the business. They didn't say, well, we got to make sure our dad, he'll be taken care of and then we'll go. No, they just dropped everything and went. And that's what God wants from your heart. That you have the ability to just drop it. And otherwise, you're always looking back. All right? You're looking back at what could have, would have, should have. And even last night when we listened to Pastor Kim's sermon, he said the Holy Spirit is a spirit of comforter, but he's not going to comfort your self-pity. Okay, that was the message last night. He's not going to comfort your self-pity. Oh, I've been abused. Oh, I'm hurt. Oh, I didn't have a dad. Oh, I didn't have a mom. You know, my dad died when I was 12. My mom, I didn't have the best mom. She used to, you know, beat me with a chopstick. Literally. You know, she used to, you know, she had an anger problem. Single mom running a business, and my brother, younger brother and I, and, you know, she just, you know, she wasn't home that much. When we were little, she beat us a lot. And that's how I kind of like in high school, senior college, we went south. Started finding Korean friends and joining the nightclub scene, right? So, and even Pastor Eugene, her dad, very, very abusive verbally, used to put her in the closet, lock the door when she was a little girl. Those don't become our excuses. Okay? We don't use that as an excuse and say, "This I can't go forward, God, because I had experienced this or that." You can't keep looking back or you're going to become a pillar of salt. We've all been through something, amen? I mean, we got people in here where you've been raped, where you've been verbally abused, you've been physically abused. You don't have mothers, you don't have fathers. We are a bunch of outcasts in here. You got anger problem, you got greed problem, you got lust problem, you got seducing problems in here. And we are the family of God. He found us this way, but he don't want to leave you this way. But when you get here, don't choose to stay in there. You got to choose to get out. Get out of your misery, get out of your self-pity. And as our pastor said, right, what's the Holy Spirit, what's his purpose? His purpose to empower you, right? Empower you to get out of your situation, follow the Lord, obey him, and glorify him. It's not so you can cry to the Holy Spirit and go, my life sucked, God. Why did you let me do this? Why did you let me go through this? Why do you give me people like this? Why do you give me children like this? Why do you give me a husband like this? Why do you give me a wife like this? You're just going to be a complainer then, and none of your prayers are going to get answered. your life will become miserable, and you're going to die in your sin. All you have to know is that whatever situation you're in, you're suffering with God. He's already overcome the world, and your day of redemption draws near. Not only to go to heaven, but your victory here in this life. No matter how many attacks you get in your mind, how many physically it looks bad, I want you to go to your physical limitation, put in that effort to stay in His presence and walk with God. And then you will fly with Him. Amen? You will be blessed. You know, my wife and I, we keep telling you, we're the first ones for this church. You see our testimony. You are visually seeing our blessings that God blessed us with our car, our home. You know, He got somebody else paying for my vehicle, right? I'm sure you guys want a vehicle where someone else paid for it, and you don't have to go get another job, right, Junior? Amen. And those are you guys are most. You know, you've been called to be the pillars of the church. There's many more coming. And when we get big, most of you will probably stop your other jobs and work for the church and be paid by the church, right? But you have to pass these tests. You have to get out of your self-pity mood. You have to get out of your pride. You have to get out of your fear, greed, and self-will. Lay it all down, right? Lay it all down, and you're just focus on God. I serve you wherever. You know, Pastor Kim, that is, he keeps mentioning Isaiah, right? And, you know, in Michigan, that Isaiah verse, I think it's chapter 8, God brought up to me, and that's where God asked the question, who shall we send? Right? You say, me, but will you go to the ends of the earth? Will you go even if God tells you you're not coming back? If you got a family, you got children, you got business, what if God says, I'm going to send you, and you're not coming back, though? You'll be martyred. Can you go? Can you leave your family behind? Can you leave your business behind? Can you leave your job and say, for God's glory and will, I will go? And what if you know that you're going to be martyred and you're going to be tortured and martyred? Will you go? Do you have that heart already determined and set? I will go wherever you want me to go, God. I will do whatever you want me to do. My life belongs to you. See, have you come to that higher revelation of His love, what He's done for you here? And when you come to that higher revelation, you can't go anywhere. You will do anything. You can suffer the highest degree for His sake, because you know you've experienced His grace, you experienced His mercy, and you know that you will get through it with Him. Do you know this, you see? And so, you know, we're His bride. Amen? We're His bride, and I need this church to make a choice, determined choice. You're going to go all the way. You're not here so God can give you a car. You're not, even though He's giving us new cars, all right? You're not here so you can get a house. You're not here so you can get your bills paid off. You're not here so He can restore your family, even though He will do this. You must be here for Him, period. Everything else is a bonus. Don't come for the bonus. If you come for the bonus, you're going to miss God, and you're going to be stuck and going in circles. And then you're going to get mad at God. For me, I'm here for God, period. If He gives me, He gives me. If He doesn't give me, He doesn't give me. In the book of Job, if He slays me, He slays me. But He is God. Amen? All right. Thank you, Lord. Let's give the Lord a hand.